Let's go!
We have it. It's right there. This is all I'm allowed to show you. This little thing right here. Check it out. That's the Xbox. Dope, right? See, it did some shit. All right, dudes. See you next time. Pretty cool. So we're going to be doing a full dive into the Xbox Series X today. And there's not a ton of brand new next-gen experiences that we can sort of share. There's some, right? There's some, and the few that are there is actually some embargoes on stuff that is not available until when the games are out, obviously. But when it comes to the system itself, we can actually stream the system. I can show you guys what it looks like. I can show you how older games play on it, its functionality, stuff like that. And here it is. This is the Xbox Series X. That's my desktop. So here's the Xbox Series X. I've actually ran into a couple of tech issues in terms of capture and streaming on my end because I have so many devices that have such a huge variety of different signals and things of the like that I'm running through a giant matrix right now, and it's hard to get a 4K signal to where I need it to go unless I only run the system through the one thing. You know what I mean? The feed that you're looking at right now and the feed that I'm looking at is 1080p. It's not 4K. So the signal doesn't have HDR, right? And I've seen it with those because I just directly connect it to my TV, and you know, you actually get to see how good it looks. It looks quite good from the perspective of like capturing and streaming and everything. This is essentially a 1080p signal that we're seeing from the system. So just as a heads up, I don't actually have the ability to output all of that on, you know, the stream at the moment because it's got to pass through so much stuff. But what we can do is go over a few things that are in here, and somebody was asking not that long ago if it's possible to fire up Dark Souls 3. And I think I owned Dark Souls 3, right? So you might notice that the integration from the previous system looking pretty similar, right? This is looking pretty similar. The interface got updated on the Xbox One X recently, and I believe it's pretty similar to the Series X. And that's the whole sort of homogenized things that Microsoft is going for, that everything between their systems looks sort of the same. So if you're expecting this brand new next-gen experience, you know, in terms of the visuals of the interface, not really going to happen. However, what you will notice is how insanely responsive everything is. Things go immediately to where you want them to go, and they happen at a blistering speed that is almost kind of ridiculous. Things are immediately responsive, and it takes no time to do anything. So a lot of you guys that are on the Xbox One, much less the Xbox, well, One X, which will run a bit faster, this is a pretty big thing with the previous generation of systems. I've already been tinkering around and using this thing for a while, so I'm already kind of used to it, but I have to remind myself to kind of show that off, that things just work when you press them, and that's actually kind of a big deal. So anyway, let's go to my my whole list of owned games, and yes, I do have Dark Souls 3, and that's now in the background. I'm gonna go to queue. Let's see how fast this is downloading. So the nice thing is that I have noticed that the download speeds in general on the Series X move a bit quicker than the Xbox One and of course the Xbox One X. So we're going to download this 20 gig game, and it's going to take us approximately 20 minutes. So that's not bad. I do have better internet, right? Of course, most people are going to, a lot of people that have okay internet spectrum and stuff like that, you're going to be getting speeds upwards of 250 megs a second. However, I do have gigabit internet. It could reach a gig sometimes, and I've seen it get really high, but I can't say that a consistent thing if you have gigabit internet, if it's going to download games that fast. I don't know. I think it's all depending on which server you're connecting to, which priority you're under, like all this different shit goes into how much bandwidth they will allocate you. That is an upgrade. There's no way you're going to hit those speeds on the previous generation, which is nice in terms of the way things are right now. I guess the best visual test of power we have on this system, because we got a lot of games, right? Apparently, and according to Microsoft, all of the previous games that were from Xbox, Xbox 360, and Xbox One should be functioning and compatible on the new system, which is cool. There was several moments where the system was getting updated over the past month, and they were adding things and adding things and adding things and adding things, right? So there was a whole bunch of games eventually being added. Of course, if we wanted to test out the system, its functionality, its playability, we should probably fire up a game that tests the visual fidelity of what next gen could be, as well as is also an extremely fun game and a classic now to boot, you know? So this is Daytona USA for the Xbox 360. And wow, look at it just go. Look at it just go. Check that out. Oh my god, no D-pad support. Holy shit, that's not good. So chat, this extremely next generation game comes with a variety of camera angles that I cannot find. I actually can't find. Hold on a second. Let's fire up something else that isn't like Daytona, something that I know works and actually has HDR support and stuff like that. Like a Panzer Dragoon. Stuff like this should be pretty good. DMC5 do? Yeah. Yeah, actually hitting quits out of the game. Going back to the menu and going home, that technically puts it in a quick resumable state, from what I can tell. So this is a nearly 20-year-old game running at 4K on this system, and it also did run the same on the Xbox One X. So this is just once again one of the really nice backwards compatible games that they added from the previous generation systems. And if we just wanted to go back and check on Dark Souls, we can see what this is like. Maybe it's still hammering away at... Yes! Go back to the title menu! Okay, there we go. And you can see, like, almost immediately I'm back to Dark Souls. Let's try to get in this game. Right, in-game. I'm gonna go to offline mode. Let's go to system. Play offline. There we go. Yeah! I'm gonna fire up Yeah. We'll see how long it takes to load. How long in a Souls game does it take for you to get from the main menu to the game? And I don't think this game is specifically optimized, but it's not that long. This is one of those obviously could be optimized better, but it took about like 8 to 10 seconds-ish, something like that. If I want to go back to Panzer Dragoon Orta, which I was already starting up the first level and doing stuff, and let's just keep playing this game. So I gotta say, of everything that I've seen for things that are next gen, when I have fired up games in this fashion and so quickly switched between one to the other, this shit is like, this is the thing that honestly kind of blows my mind the most about this system, is how quickly and how efficiently you go from one game to the next and back at the UI within an immediate press of a button. I could see this being a certain thing, like if you're playing a game and you're farming or something like that, and you're waiting for a timer to come back or some weird shit that you're just like waiting for, you know, something to happen. You can immediately go over and then just flip on Killer Instinct and then go practice some combos or something like that if you wanted, without the other game even going away. The other game's technically still operating, you know, in some fashion. Let's get some sort of pretty stage, and wow, just look at that. Killer Instinct, running nice, doing what it needs to be doing, loading immediately. Man, you remember how you can immediately tell if your opposition was an Xbox player on KI? Because naturally I play on the Windows 10 version. Remember how you can tell if, like, oh, this guy's an Xbox player, because you would have to load for 10 to 15 seconds every single, like, match. And now it's just like, nah, we just go. We can just pause that and go back, and if I wanted to see what the hell Dark Souls 3 was like, which is a game that's actually still installing, right? Remind you, Dark Souls 3 is still installing. The system is still doing shit in the background. Is it gonna make it? Did it make it? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is this trial by fire? Uh-oh. It seemed like maybe we should just wait for it to finish downloading. Let's do Monster Hunter, right? I think Monster Hunter is better because this is a good example of a previous generation game that clearly had some issues on the previous gen systems in terms of frame rate and resolution. But now I'll just I'll let the game sort of speak for itself. So get this here. Sure, just get me into the game. Just get me into the game. And we'll see how long it takes for you to load up. Oh, it's done. I'll shut up now. So this is Monster Hunter. Running at absolutely 60 FPS. In every sense of the fashion. Oh, good. Alright, how long is it going to take to load all this shit up? Because this is the stuff that usually takes a hell of a long time on the previous systems. Oh, it's done. Okay. Well, how about this part, right? When you eventually get into the game. What about how long does it take from you to get to... Oh, it's done. Okay. Yeah, it's almost like you're getting the PC experience. You are getting the PC experience of these games. These are previous gen games. Like I'm not gonna be like, damn, like look how incredible this next generation experience is. All we're really looking at right now is an extremely amplified version of the games that have been out for a long time. Games that still look pretty good, right? Games that are not visually trash by any stretch of the imagination. But just how efficiently everything works on the system. Also, I have like my favorite games on here. Here's some customizable shit that you can do. You have a customized menu, right? For how you want your Xbox to look. Naturally, I put KI and MKX on here. But I would also possibly like to add some of my other favorite games in their communities to this little area. Let's just add MVCI. I'm gonna stick it right in the middle. And you can change your color and background. I changed it from a custom image, which is actually, this custom image is achievement art that I made for Killer Instinct. This was a loading screen for KI when I was working on the game story mode. So I was like, oh, I remember this. This is neat. You get all these Fulgors and Aganos, and you can just fire that up. So if you have custom images and shit like that, it just works. I don't have auto HDR enabled because obviously my monitor isn't supporting auto HDR, but damn! This game on an OLED doesn't look terrible. Oh, wow, it just loaded. Not bad. Not bad. Just play Marvel 3? I mean, I can. Why not? I can practice Marvel 3 and I can practice MVCI at the same damn time. Isn't that weird? I like the D-pad. Yeah, actually, I like it even more than the previous generation D-pad. I do. So, Marvel 3 fired up. Cool. So, let's see how quickly it loads shit up. Obviously, because this is an old game that isn't super big, it should be pretty fast. Do I like the new controller or the 360 more? I still think the sticks have gotten a little bit tighter, right? But my big thing that I like about the Xbox 360 is the tightness of the sticks. Wait! I remembered the combo in Marvel Infinite! I remembered my MVCI combo. Wait a minute! Hold on. Let's do the MVCI combo. Fight! There we go. I remembered it now. Now you're just showing up. Well, yeah. Oh, what about Monster Hunter? That's a good... Right. Oh, God. Oh, God, chat. I forgot to carve the Jagras. I forgot to carve. I'm dropping shit. I forgot to carve the Jogress chat. Shit, I'm gonna lose. No, I lost. Oh, I couldn't. Forgot to carve my Jogress. You know your ass ain't gonna utilize this feature? No. I mean, for me, no. But seeing things load and flip between themselves that fast, it's cool. Like, it truly feels next gen as shit. Right? Like, that's all I'm trying to give you guys the impression of, is that you can. Let's try a game that I believe is proper backwards compatible with the previous generation, right? Let's try, I'm gonna stick the Street Fighter 4 Xbox 360 disc in there and see if it does anything. It did it. Discs can go into the system. What now? Okay. Update for your current console. To play this game, you need to download an update. 5.2 gigs of space. Install. Go to the queue, and it's downloading Street Fighter 4 at almost 100 megs. About 100 megs. That should be done pretty soon. I can tell you I've never heard the console make any noise. I've had it right next to me. But what we'll do is we'll fire up something that has like an unlocked frame rate, and then I'll go see how much the fans kick in and stuff like that. But from the situations I have in the past, I've never heard the system make any noise outside of the power button. So obviously we've had to download an ISO for the game that is being installed to the system right now. All the disc really did is just verify that we own the game. And then we can now fire it up. Street Fighter 4. Who will come out on top? Oh, this looks good. All right. Well, that works, right? We actually had a physical disc of a previous generation game, previous generation game, and then suddenly you plug it in and it works. So I think a lot of features in this console feel very next gen in terms of performance, in terms of speed, in terms of responsiveness, like things that have been clearly missing from interfaces and stuff of that nature for the past 2 generations of consoles. It honestly feels like you're getting a PC gaming experience for dramatically cheaper than what a PC would cost you around this time frame. So I got to give Microsoft that. I think my biggest criticism of this console, while it has a lot to offer in terms of its functionality and its Game Pass and services and backwards compatibility, which I love, those things are present in the Xbox One X. And I have an Xbox One X. Those things are there. It's nice that this continues and carries over all the stuff that I like about the One X. That's dope. That's dope that I can play 4 generations of Microsoft Xbox games on this thing. Not everything, mind you, but 4 generations is pretty sick. And I love that about this system. I think that's fantastic. It's pretty clear that this console has yet to find its killer instinct, right? And if it's able to find its instinct somewhere out there, you know, with all of its other Microsoft titles eventually, maybe it'll eventually get that killer instinct that it needs to compete with the other systems, you know? There's so many Microsoft titles that are in development right now, and there's so many games. And it's cool that we get games from the previous console looking great on here, but what it's really missing is that ability to go into the wild of this video game market and have that killer instinct that some other consoles seem to have right now with their exclusive games. And if that killer app, if that killer instinct showed up in some way, you know, just in some way, if Microsoft can find that instinct that would make them a killer, then possibly, you know, they could really start getting people on board with their exclusives, you know? It's clear that there's instinct, but it's not killer yet. It's not. It's got all these things that make it incredibly cool, and I would love for this to be my main system for a lot of, like, the games that are going to be coming out for multiple platforms, but what really boils down to in this next generation is going to be exclusives, and it lacks those killer exclusives. The instinct is missing at launch. It's unfortunate. it's missing what I call a killer instinct, you know? I don't know if I've talked about it yet, but it just, there's something that they could grasp it, like some sort of, you know, killer instinct that they could